time, we trawl through the lives, loves and trivia of some of entertainment's greatest exports. This multi-talented lover of sharp suits is said to be terrified of sharks, snakes and spiders, and of dying unloved. Perhaps this last fear explains why Justin Timberlake insists on surrounding himself with hordes of collaborators across a hugely diverse portfolio of creative projects. With so much going on, it's hard to imagine that he would ever find himself alone. The native of Memphis, Tennessee, literally grew up in public, joining the other young talent on American TV series The Mickey Mouse Club at the age of 13. There he met one of his future NSYNC bandmates and his future girlfriend Britney Spears. Their high-profile romance ended abruptly in 2002, amid rumours that Britney had done the dirty with choreographer Wade Robson, neatly handing Justin the inspiration for one of the hit singles on his hugely successful debut solo album, Justified. By the next year, his broken heart was being mended by Charlie's angel, Cameron Diaz. And JT really started ramping up his output. First on the agenda was a tour with another old Mickey Mouse colleague, Christina Aguilera. But Justin certainly smashed any myths about the glamorous life of a touring pop star.
It's really about stamina, you know, and making sure you get enough rest to keep this going for 3 months, because it's a grind. It really is a grind. You're on a bus every night. You're traveling, you know, every day. And if you're not doing that, then you're on stage, you know, basically getting the cardio workout of your life.
He scored the mother of all live gigs when he was invited to perform during halftime at the Super Bowl. The fallout of the so-called wardrobe malfunction may have flawed Janet's career, but it only seemed to boost Justin's.
That was fun. It was quick, slick, to the point, and no, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. You guys are getting pretty hot and steamy. Hey, man, we love giving y'all something to talk about.
Justin went on to win 2 Grammy Awards in 2004. He then launched his own line of threads called William Rast, in collaboration with childhood friend Trace Ayala. He's also pushed on with his acting. After starring as a journalist in the film Edison Force, he's since appeared in Alpha Dog, Black Snake Moan and Southland Tales. He also got to give voice to the young King Arthur in the 3rd installment of animation goldmine Shrek. Despite breaking up with Cameron during the making of the film, Justin and his ex seemed comfortable about rubbing shoulders on the green carpet.
I think it's really funny when people ask that question, because it says more about them than anything, really.
While there has been plenty of speculation about a new romance with Illusionist star Jessica Biel, Justin's energies seem to be focused on his professional liaisons. After working with Uber producer Timberland on his 2006 Future Sex Love Sounds album, he was invited to step up to the role of producer himself on Timberland's solo album.
Having Justin input, he was already still hyped from the Future Sex Love, and I feel like he didn't get a lot out because only 12 songs. Yeah. So he had more to get out, but we know how to cut it short. So I said, you might as well just come in and be like a producer with me on this album and give your input, and I'll just take it from there.
And JT took the opportunity to explain why their collaboration works.
I think why Tim and I are having a good success rate lately is because I feel like we don't take the people that listen to our music for granted. We don't dumb our music down for them. We don't make them feel like we're trying to give them a cookie or something, you know?
In 2007, he was spotted going into the studio with Madonna. He's also currently working with 50 Cent, Duran Duran and Canadian singer Nelly Furtado. On the enterprise front, he's been busy opening a restaurant called Southern Hospitality, inspired by the food he grew up with in Tennessee.
My granny is the dessert menu. Basically, her recipes are the dessert menu. Her pecan pie is pretty signature. Yeah. So I recommend that right out of the oven with some, you know, vanilla bean ice cream.
Surrounded by so many collaborators and celebrity chums, this artist-entrepreneur is never going to die unloved. This Bootylicious singer's father abandoned a six-figure salary as a salesman to manage his daughter's singing career. That bold decision initially inflicted hardship on the Knowles family, who were forced to live in separate apartments for a while. But when Beyonce's group Destiny's Child signed to Columbia Records in 1996, they were back in the money. At the time, Beyonce was just 15 years old, but she had already won over 30 singing and dancing competitions in her native Houston. Destiny's Child, which also included her childhood best friends Kelly Rowland and Latavia Robertson, went on to become the biggest-selling female group of all time, winning Beyonce a swag of Grammy Awards. In 2001, at the age of 20, she also became the first black woman to win Songwriter of the Year from the American Society of Composers, Authors and Publishers. Having achieved all the accolades available with Destiny's Child, Beyonce was clearly on the hunt for new challenges. After starring in the made-for-TV film Carmen Hip Hop Opera, she well and truly set up a stall as an actress in Mike Myers' Austin Powers sequel, Goldmember. In 2003, she played a gospel choir singer opposite Cuba Gooding Jr. in the comedy Fighting Temptations. Being only her second big screen role, she was nervous about how it would turn out.
I was terrified, and the first time I saw this, the same feeling, but I was so critical the first time. The second time was a little better. Now I can really watch it.
She still hadn't gotten over her stage fright when she arrived on set for the shooting of The Pink Panther. But director Sean Levy helped her overcome her fears.
Beyonce and I spent a week rehearsing. So we just went right at the fact that she's not an actress, it's not her day job, and let's not pretend that there isn't anxiety. We did every scene 25, 30, 40 times. We tried it a number of different ways, and we figured out the character and the performance together. So I think that as far as Beyonce's nervousness, we dealt with it by talking about it.
But Beyonce wasn't going to let a little thing like nerves get in the way of her ambition.
I admire Barbara Streisand, Cher, Diana Ross, and they sang in a lot of their movies, but when they acted, they really acted, and they were really good. It doesn't matter to me. I eventually want to do a really big musical. That's my dream.
As usual, she didn't have to wait long. Within 2 years, she'd nailed her starring role in the screen adaptation of 80s Broadway musical Dreamgirls. In tandem with her film career, Beyonce's solo singing efforts have also soared, in line with her record as an outrageous overachiever. Her debut album, Dangerously in Love, went platinum within 3 weeks and netted her 5 Grammy Awards. She picked up another with her 2006 album, B-Day. Despite her meteoric rise to fame and fortune, Beyonce has never looked likely to fail in a self-destructive trap that threatens to derail so many young stars. Perhaps her secret to remaining grounded lies in her strong family connections. Not only does her mother Tina design all her clothes, but her personal assistant and co-songwriter is her cousin Angela. Beyonce has also enjoyed plenty of support from her boyfriend, the equally multi-talented Jay-Z. In 2005, she decided to share her mother's designs with the rest of the world by starting up her own clothing line called the House of Darian.
This line is so much more than fashion. It's our life, and it's about family and the love we have for each other. And I think it's so wonderful, the relationship we have, and I think it's a great inspiration for younger girls to see.
She walked the talk supporting her younger sister Solange at the premiere of her new film, Bring It On, All or Nothing, in their hometown.
She looks beautiful. It's very special to be in Houston.
And in 2007, she was pleased as punch to be awarded the cover shot of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, wearing a bikini designed by her mum. This beefcake's first film role was an uncredited appearance in the 1990 film Awakenings, starring Robert De Niro and Robin Williams. The Fast and Furious star may look and sound all brawn, but like veteran action hero Sylvester Stallone, he's a man of many talents. Having spent his formative years honing his muscles at the gym and honing his craft on the off-Broadway theatre circuit, he got the chance to practice playing the superhero as a bouncer at Manhattan nightclubs. After years of trying to break into Hollywood, he resorted to writing, producing, directing and starring in the 1994 short film Multifacial, about a struggling actor stuck in an endless round of auditions. It was a big hit at the Cannes Film Festival. He went on to raise $50,000 to make a feature film, which made it into the Sundance Festival. Doing it the hard way finally caught the attention of Steven Spielberg, who cast him in 1998's Saving Private Ryan. And Vin remains grateful for the early opportunities.
My whole film career started in 1995 in the Cannes Film Festival. Then the next stage of my career was when my feature film got accepted. The feature film I directed, called Streisand, got accepted into Sundance Dramatic Competition. That was the second festival. And then I got whisked away into the Hollywood machine. Very grateful that I was able to be a part of that machine. I haven't been back to a festival. I love film festivals because it's where I started. It's where I came from. I wouldn't be here had it not been for film festivals. So if I have an opportunity to come back to a film festival, I'm already there. I'm already excited about it.
As part of the Hollywood machine, he has lent his muscle to films like XXX, Pitch Black, in which he performed all his own stunts, and The Chronicles of Riddick, which also unfortunately landed him a Razzie nomination. By 2002, he was comfortable enough as Hollywood's new action king to step into the dual role of star and producer again to make Man Apart. Unlike some of the cartoonish action heroes of his former films, the grieving husband in Man Apart presented some serious acting challenges.
What was challenging about the character was to play a character that was fearless on one hand, and on another hand, so obviously crippled and lost by the loss of his wife. That's what was fun about playing the character and exploring that range of emotions.
The lukewarm reception by critics and audiences suggested that the fun may have been all his. But when one critic wrote that he had yet to put the act into action, Vin shrugged it off.
Well, my opinion is I never feel like I have to prove that I can act, because I feel like I prove I act in XXX. Because I approach every character the same way, with the same respect. And just some characters call for more physical training, like on a XXX or something, or Fast and Furious. A lot of the times the training and the preparation will be practical car driving, stunt car driving, or doing anything that you need for XXX. For something like this, it's all rehearsal. It's all character-driven rehearsals.
For his 2006 film Find Me Guilty, Vin piled on the pounds to play Giacomo Jackie Di Giorgio. Based on a true story, the film chronicles the longest criminal case in American history. And legendary director Sidney Lumet was quick to defend his star's acting capabilities.
He's got a lot in him. We haven't touched him yet. I mean, he's marvelous in this, and it's a beginning of what I think will be a tremendous acting career. You know, people always underestimate action heroes. They think, oh, all it is muscles. They forget that Sean Connery is a terrific actor, that Clint Eastwood is a terrific actor, that in the old days, Gary Cooper, people would laugh at him saying, yup, nope, and one of our best movie actors. And I think Vin is going to join that company.
Whether or not Sid is proved right, Vin, who is currently preparing to produce and star in a biopic of Hannibal the Conqueror, has only one humble goal.
I just want audiences to enjoy the experience, or to get lost in the experience. I mean, My objective in making movies is that when you come to the movie, you can forget about everything else and you can engage in a story and take away from it anything that you need to take away from it. It should be ultimately a personal experience for everyone that sits down in the theater.
This evergreen singer has sold more gold and platinum albums than any other female artist. And during her sellout 20-show tour of North America in 2006, at the age of 64, Barbra Streisand broke the house record of every venue she played. And fans were gushing.
Babs is important because she's become a legend, and I want to be part of that legend.
I just love this woman. I do. I've loved her forever and ever. She's been my favorite singer.
You know, nobody has a voice like she does, and the way she just reaches in and tugs at all your heartstrings. I should have brought a box of tissues.
That sort of adulation has surely vindicated Babs' decision to pursue a performing career, in defiance of her mother's opinion that she wasn't attractive enough. She got her professional singing start in a gay bar in Manhattan's Greenwich Village. By 1962, she'd appeared in a Broadway musical and signed a record deal with Columbia. By the end of 1999, she'd become America's most successful female artist of all time, having clocked up at least 2 #1 albums in each decade since the 60s. One of those albums called upon the songwriting and producing talents of Bee Gees leader Barry Gibb. The 1980 release of Guilty spawned the singles Guilty and Woman in Love, which earned Barbra 2 of the biggest hits of her career. Aware that lightning rarely ever strikes twice, it took Babs and Barry another 25 years before teaming up again for Guilty Pleasures.
Actually, there was a little reticence, I think, on both of our parts over the years. I think that, you know, sometimes it's nice to hit and run. It's nice to sort of do something that really works and then sort of leave it alone and move on to something else. And I think that was our first way of thinking when we did Guilty. So we weren't really in a hurry to repeat Guilty. The only way we could approach it was to treat it like we were just doing another album again and to try not to think about that first album. And to that extent, I think it worked.
The result was one of Barbra's best reviewed and best-selling albums since the 80s. In line with her opposition to the Iraq War, Guilty Pleasures included an ode to soldiers away from home. The war in Iraq is just one of the issues that the famously outspoken activist and Democrat supporter has weighed in on. She's also an ardent campaigner for gay rights.
Whether you're a heterosexual couple or, you know, same-gender couple, everybody has the right to love and be loved. That's what's important, to strengthen families, whether they're gay families, heterosexual families. It's about commitment.
Barbra has also been vocal in the campaign to raise awareness of global warming. She supports gun control and the fight to get more useful aid for victims of Hurricane Katrina. And at a 2006 concert, when an audience member heckled her during a skit that poked fun at President Bush, she wasn't afraid to spew forth expletives. No wonder Liza Minnelli is such a fan.
I just love her. I love her because she's just so feisty. And she is a political animal. She really is. She understands it, she's studied it, and she cares a great deal about it. I care about it too. I do my thing in my own way, with benefits and with things, and I'm more behind the scenes. But she's right out there in front.
Barbra has also enjoyed great success on film. She scored a Best Actress Oscar first time out for the musical Funny Girl in 1968. Big movies since have included The Way We Were, Hello Dolly, and the Ben Stiller comedy Meet the Fockers. For all this and so much more, she scored her own exhibition in Los Angeles in 2005. Featuring more than 1,000 collectibles spanning the diva's 40-year career, many of the exhibits were lent to the Hollywood Museum by Barbra's adoring fans.
This is probably the prize of my collection. It is the My Name is Barbara gown from her very first TV special. The thing that even Barbara herself acknowledged is that on that special, more people saw her in that special than if she would have stayed playing Funny Girl for 58 years. So most everyone who likes and knows Barbara loves that gown. And here it is.
There it is. This soulful action man turned down the offer of $11 million to star in the sequel to Speed. Instead, Keanu Reeves opted to go on tour playing bass with his now defunct band Dogstar, leaving co-star Sandra Bullock to helm the wheel. In hindsight, it was probably a good decision.
Joking? Did you see Speed 2? Did you see it? You saw it? Were you forced to see it? So sorry. It was free. It was free. It was free. It was free. He was he was smart. I was not as wise then.
It's not the only time that Keanu, whose name means cool breeze over the mountains in Hawaiian, has turned down a plum role. In 1986, with barely any film credits to his name, he bowed out of playing the role that eventually went to Charlie Sheen in Platoon because he didn't like the violence involved. His famous ambivalence towards his pay packet also saw him waiving his fee for the horror drama The Devil's Advocate to allow for the casting of Al Pacino. He did the same for his 2000 comedy The Replacements to leave room in the budget for Gene Hackman. His generosity subsequently earned him freakish karma points. His starring role in the Wachowski brothers' sci-fi hit The Matrix in 1999 put him in line for a share of the box office for the franchise's 2 sequels. Keanu's haul from Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions has been estimated at a mind-boggling $204 million, making him the highest-paid actor of all time. Not that he kept it all to himself. He was quoted as saying, "Money is really the last thing I think about. I could live on what I have already earned for the next few centuries." He reportedly bought brand new Harley-Davidson motorbikes for each of the film's stuntmen. Other reports claimed he diverted some of his Matrix earnings to the crew. Despite the mounting pile of karma credits, fate was dealing Keanu's personal life one low blow after another. In December 1999, Keanu's girlfriend Jennifer Symes gave birth to a stillborn daughter. A year and a half later, not long after the couple had broken up, Jennifer was killed in a car accident. Keanu was a pallbearer at the funeral, and Jennifer was buried next to their daughter Ava. Within a year of burying his ex-girlfriend, Keanu was maintaining a bedside vigil over his sister Kim, who was battling leukemia. After this horrendous spate of tragedies, Keanu reportedly said that he no longer believed that things happened for a reason. However, his legendary generosity made its presence felt again when he donated $1 million to cancer research. Thankfully, in 2003, he managed to lighten up a little, starring in the romantic comedy Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
It was one of the best scripts I've ever read, and Something's Gotta Give. I think Nancy Meyers wrote a beautiful script. It's just funny, touching, and a great role, and to work with something that goes from, if I was going to contrast them, I'd say the formalism of The Matrix and going to something that's so naturalistic is something that's got to give us great opportunity as an actor, and it's something that I hope to be able to do, you know, different kinds of roles, different kinds of films.
He put his hand up for another comedy, Thumbsucker, the following year. And in 2006, he was tempted back into the on-screen partnership that brought so much success to Speed 12 years earlier. For The Lake House, viewers were asked to suspend their disbelief in a tale of 2 lovers separated by 2 years and connected by a magic mailbox. While the film may not have been a box office smash, he and Sandra proved they had lost none of their wonderful chemistry.
What if you were in a place where all of a sudden you were going down to that magical mailbox and you could start to write and you got answered and, you know, whoever you said, oh my God, this is crazy. And if someone wrote something funny and you looked around and you went, wow, okay, well, maybe I'll answer it. And then you started to go, well, maybe I can tell this thing and I can start to write and it comes back and then it can be yours. And now you're having something's going on. And then if you're my character, you get to meet them. And how about like the first time that you meet, kind of, or the second time, you end up having such a connection that you kiss. Oh my God, are you telling me you wouldn't
do it?
Wait?